Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well. Many of you have been asking me for an update on Tesla stock. So, guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at the chart of Tesla, especially after the recent rally that's occurred here, which just recently reached some of our targets on Tesla. We'll look at this as well as this particular chart over here with the potential wave counts. Then I want to show you this. I want to explain to you what these comments mean for Tesla, as well as this chart over here about the sentiment cycle. So it should be quite interesting. Join me in this update as we talk about Tesla. Alright guys, welcome back. Now before we dig into this particular chart and explain to you what's happening on this chart here as well, there is something very important that I need to mention at the beginning. So please do not ignore this first section of the video because it will explain to you how I do my analysis. And also I'm going to share with you something very important about how to do proper analysis. And this is something that most people don't even know about. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is this. You may remember that just about a few years ago, the price of Tesla was rallying here, and that was the price level at which it peaked in 2021, and then it dropped by about 75%. And guys, here's a key point. If back at the peak of 2021, you had told anybody, especially the hardcore investors in Tesla stock, that the price was going to drop by about 75%, what do you think they would have said? Would they have believed you? No, they would not have done. Guys, the majority of Tesla stock investors and the hardcore believers, the Tesla bros, they would have laughed at you. They would have ridiculed you for just suggesting that price of Tesla could drop, let alone by 75%. The mere idea that the price of Tesla stock could lose 3/4 of its value, as it did, by the way, by the year 2023, would have been unthinkable, would have been unimaginable to most Tesla investors back at the time. And by the way, if you talk to one of these people and you ask them, why don't you think the price of Tesla can drop? They would have said, guess what? Because of fundamentals, schmundamentals. Now, when the price of Tesla did eventually crash, and it dropped, as you know, in 2023, in January of 2023, the price of Tesla stock had dropped just near $100. So at the time, you may remember, I put out a video. I put out my first Tesla stock analysis video in this decade, right there in January of 2023, when the price of Tesla had crashed to just near $100, just above $100. And you may remember I said I was bullish on Tesla stock. I was expecting a big bounce, a major bounce to higher levels. Why? Because of several things. One of them being that the price of Tesla had dropped to oversold conditions, extreme oversold conditions here, as we can see on the RSI, and also dropped to a level of support as well, psychological support. So guys, as you remember, we were expecting a bounce, a huge bounce in the price of Tesla stock. But what do you think most people were saying? What do you think the majority of people were saying about Tesla stock right there in January 2023? Were they bearish or were they bullish? Take a look at this. These are some of the comments I got on that video when I said I was bullish on Tesla stock in January of 2023. Let's go through them. This one over here, comment says, it's not oversold. It should probably be around $50 based on fundamentals. This one over here, 4 words. This time is different. So this guy is disagreeing with me. He's saying, no, the price is not going up. Why? Because macro fundamentals are disastrous for Tesla. And then he says, Tesla and the market overall are headed decisively lower next year. By the way, the exact opposite happened. Tesla and the markets rallied further higher. Next comment. Even at this price, on fundamentals, it is way overpriced. And there's some more comments saying the price is going to drop to $15 to $25 range. Some are saying that it's going to go to $60. So guys, just so you understand, these guys are using fundamentals to justify the price crashing even more to much lower levels, saying, no, it's not going to go up, it's going to go down. By the way, it's not finished. Let me show you some more. These guys were saying, I'll start buying Tesla at $69. This one's saying it's going to go to $70. This one here says it will hit close to $50. Bottom at $25, $85. So guys, just so you understand, the majority of all these comments prove one important thing. The very same people who argue that price cannot drop because of fundamentals, the mega bullish people who are buying Tesla right there in 2021 before the crash, those very same people were arguing that price of Tesla cannot go back up because of why? Because of fundamentals, schmundamentals. So they use the same argument, fundamentals, to why price cannot go up and why price cannot go down. Guys, what most people do not understand, but you do because you're intelligent and sophisticated people, because you've been watching my videos, so you understand this point. Most people are under the mistaken belief that price goes up and down because of fundamentals. What actually moves price is not fundamentals, but sentiment, emotion. In other words, the emotional behavior of the herd, the masses, okay? So for example, when the price of any market, could be Tesla, could be Bitcoin, when it's rallying higher and higher and higher, then euphoria sets in, as we can see. So there's massive amounts of euphoria, greed as well. That's a point of high risk. At this point, there's an episteme. By the way, the word episteme was used by the great French philosopher Michel Foucault. And Michel Foucault, phenomenal thinker, he said that humanity goes through periods of different epistemes. In other words, different systems of thinking, different modes of thought. And I'm using Foucault's concept and applying it to the markets. Essentially, guys, at the point of highest risk, at the points of euphoria and greed, the episteme is one of this. People say, oh, price cannot drop because of fundamentals. So you see a lot of people talking and chattering and saying nonsense like this. The price cannot drop because of fundamentals. That occurs near the peaks, as you can see here. That occurs near the very highs of euphoria and greed. But when the price crashes and drops, when you get capitulation and panic and a huge amount of fear, the exact opposite happens. The episteme changes. The episteme changes from one of bullishness to massive bearishness. So people say, price cannot go up again. It's over. And guys, as you saw from those comments that I showed you, people will use the exact same justification, the exact same reasons, fundamentals for why price cannot go up and why price cannot go down. It's the same thing all over. So my point is this: the next time you meet somebody who says the price cannot go down or cannot go up because of so-called fundamentals, there's only one thing you should do. Well, first of all, show them this video. But another thing you can do is tell them this.
You dumb mother.
No, I am joking. There's no need for that kind of language. But you can tell them something like this, in the words of William Friedkin.
I don't give a flying into a rolling donut. Is that an answer to your question?
Alright guys, the reason I had to explain that point at the beginning of this video, it is not fundamentals that drives the price, it's social mood. It is euphoria, fear, and greed, and panic, and things like that that actually drives the price. So let's get back to the chart. Okay, so as you can see here, the price of Tesla managed to break through that trend line, as you can see right there. Now that first breakout happened to be a false break, but look what happened here. So I want to just zoom in here. Let me show you this. So back in September, I put out a video and I explained to you at the time why I was bullish on the price of Tesla. Let's have a look and come back. My view is that we're quite likely in the C wave in yellow, taking us eventually, perhaps by the end of this year or maybe by next year, to those upper levels. Now, I'll talk about this in a few minutes, but the bottom line is I think we're now in the C wave of the B wave in blue, the bigger B wave, which I think could take us to this zone here, between 314 to 338 to potentially 350 to 360 levels here. All right, guys, welcome back. Now, as you saw in that video in September, here's a screenshot. So I said at the time that I was expecting Tesla stock to eventually reach these levels, and my levels were in this range for the B wave. So that was at to about $364 range. And I even said we could reach this level here as well, about 345. And by the way, these are the levels we've just reached in November. So we were expecting these levels to be reached 2 months ago, before this rally started. Now, before I talk about this particular wave count, I'm sure some of you are probably thinking, hey Alessio, what about the other wave count you showed in red, the red wave count, which showed a very bearish picture for Tesla, Tesla going below $100. Guys, as you may remember, I said in my video in September that I was not expecting that scenario. I said that particular wave count and scenario had a lower probability and I was not expecting it. Here's a clip and we'll come back. Again, let me just repeat the point I made earlier. I'm not bearish on Tesla. So this is a lower probability wave count and scenario. So I'm not expecting this. For me, this yellow wave count or blue and yellow wave count is much more likely. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching that. So as you saw in that clip from back in September, I clearly said that I was bullish on Tesla and I was expecting higher levels. Again, the levels we've just reached in this range between 345 to 364. Okay, so far so good. And I think this is part of the C wave of the larger B wave. So just to explain this point, what I mean by that is this. In other words, if this was our first A wave down, okay, from 2021 to 2023, this is part of a larger B wave we're now forming, a large B wave. And what's happening now is that we're forming these smaller waves, the inner waves, so the A wave, B wave, and the C wave within this larger B wave. The question I want to discuss in this video is the B wave done? Is it complete? Or do we have higher to go in this B wave? So in other words, could the C wave of the B wave in yellow, so could the C wave extend further higher? My view is yes, it could. And here's why. The reason is, if you count the waves from the lows we made this year in 2024, you can see that so far we're only up about 3 waves. That's wave 1, wave 2, and this appears to be the wave 3. Okay, so we are so far 3 waves up. But as we know, C waves are composed of 5 waves, not 3 waves. Okay, so I think what we have here, let me just get my pen. So what we have here is wave 1, 2, and wave 3 of the C wave. By the way, you're probably thinking, well, could the drop we've seen just in the last few days, is this wave 4 of the C wave? I don't believe so. No. I think that actually the wave 3 has higher to go. So I don't think we're done completing wave 3 yet. So for example, we haven't even reached this level yet. We haven't even reached the 1618 golden ratio extension of the waves 1 and 2, which puts it about $395, just near $400. So because the C wave is impulsive, composed of 5 waves, I don't think the wave 3 of the C wave has completed yet. So I think we've got higher to go in this C wave. In other words, the wave 3 of the C wave probably will extend a bit further higher to about $395, $400. So I'm expecting this wave 3 to extend to this region here. Okay, so in other words, I'm just getting my pen. I think the wave 3 will eventually bring us to about here. So the third wave will probably come to about $395, $400, and then we could see a pullback in the wave 4. Let me just do this again. So I think the wave 3 could extend higher to this region here. Again, $395, $400 approximately. And then we could see a pullback in what could be a wave 4 and then a wave 5. Wave 5 taking us eventually to about 450. By the way, in case some of you are thinking, can the B wave go above the prior all-time highs? Yes, it can. Yes, in fact, B waves are often bull traps, so it's perfectly normal for B waves to exceed prior highs. So I think the wave 5 of the C wave of B can extend further higher. Again, in case you're thinking why, because we have not yet completed 5 waves for the C wave, because the C wave is impulsive. By the way, that's only on one condition. As you guys know, in my analysis, I always talk about risk, because I could be wrong here. So the risk level is now here. What I mean by that? So when I said the risk level is between 270 and 238, what I mean by that is, to me, my analysis remains valid only as long as price remains above key support. And key support is between 238 and 270. So as long as Tesla stock protects and remains above 238 and 270, I think it's probable for the price to extend further higher to about this region here. At least 400, but I think eventually probably to this level here, 450, approximately 458 to 450. And potentially even to this level here, the 2618 extension. 2618 extension here is about 528. So there's a potential for the C wave of B to go into this region here to about 450 to 528 approximately. Okay, that would take us into the new year, probably, I think, to January, February of the new year. Again, that is only on one condition, on the condition that price remains, on any pullbacks, remains above 270 and 238. In case you're wondering, well, why does that matter? Because if the price of Tesla stock was to drop below these levels, below 238 and 270, I would have to change my mind and become bearish. Okay, so if the price of Tesla, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Okay, so if the price of Tesla stock on any pullbacks was to breach and drop below 238 and 270, then I would have to change my mind and adopt the view that Tesla has topped at the near current highs that it formed here. By the way, let me just say this. I'm not expecting this. So even though I'm saying this as a potential risk, I'm bullish on Tesla stock. I still think we have higher to go in the C wave of B. Okay, I'm only saying this from the point of view of risk, to assess the risks, that if the price of Tesla was to drop below 270 and 238, which again I'm not expecting, I think that's a lower probability. First of all, C waves extend at least by 5 waves, that's firstly, but also I'm bullish on the stock market for the remainder of this year. So for those 2 reasons, I still think that Tesla stock has a bit higher to go in the C wave of B, potentially to these higher levels, at the very minimum 400, but also potentially 450 to extend this C wave of B. And then we'll see what happens in the next few months. And guys, before I finish this video, just remember, the next time someone says to you that the price of anything, any market, Tesla or Bitcoin or whatever, cannot go up or cannot go down because of fundamentals, mumbo jumbo or garbage, just show them this video. And just remember this, those very same people who are saying the price of Tesla cannot drop right over there in 2021 were the exact same people who were saying the price of Tesla cannot go up again right there in 2023, as I proved to you in this video from the comments that we saw. Thank you very much indeed. If this video has helped, please give it a like and also please subscribe for future video updates. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.